Hello and welcome. Welcome to our live Monday lesson. It's good to have you on board. And yes, I miss you so much. All my excelling kids, my excelling parents, my excelling friends and family. It's been a while, but I thank God for the opportunity to return to our live lesson. And I have been thinking about you know, the pandemic and everything else that has gone on in the last year, from last year up to now, just going through all the things, the experiences, when the pandemic first hit, what happened, and where we are now. And most importantly, thinking in terms of our children, in terms of our kids, our youth, and Excelling Kids Club, what we can offer, what we can do. And one of the observations that I made, and I'm sure many of our parents have also made, is that the violence among our youth, our young people in London, in the UK, has gone down massively compared to life before COVID. So that is one thing, obviously, because of the lockdown, everybody have to stay indoors. So there was not enough opportunity for our young people to go about getting themselves into trouble. So in a way, the pandemic has broken the pattern, as I would like to put it, because it almost became like a pattern whereby, almost every month, every week in the news, we're hearing these troubles concerning our youth that we did not want. So with this pattern broken, what I was thinking about, or what was kept playing on my mind, was that now the pattern is broken. What can we do? We need to make sure that we replace it. We'll help our young people to build a whole new positive pattern, because as the pandemic is coming to an end, thank goodness for the vaccine, and places are being opened up. Things are going to start, opening up. We are going to be allowed to go out there with our young people. And we want to make sure that they have a whole new positive pattern to display out there. We don't want to go back to the old pattern, the old ways, the old troubles that were plaguing our streets, that was filtered in our news, on television and on social media, about youth crime, about antisocial behavior, knife crime, gun crime, all this bad news that we used to hear about our young people. We don't want to hear them anymore after COVID. Obviously, the lockdown, as I said, has broken that pattern. So our aim, our duty, our desire is to equip our young people, to help them to see that they can start afresh. And this brings us to our topic for today. We've got some great tips to help our young people to stay out of trouble. So thank you for everyone who has joined us. If you can please help us share the video, tell somebody, gather your children, let them know that we are live. We are live. It's always so great to have them watch us live. And our time is very short, but we will make sure that it is impactful. So tips to stay out of trouble. Welcome on board, our beloved young people and our beloved parents. I'm sure you're all watching together so that we will all be able to learn this great lesson that will change and transform our lives. So to begin with, let us talk about the meaning of trouble. I know that everybody knows the meaning of trouble, right? Yeah, right from your childhood, right from a very young age, you hear the word, oh, you are in trouble. Oh, and you even hear people say that I am in trouble. So what does it mean? It simply means difficulties or problems. So the things that we do not want, those are the things that we consider them as troubles. And troubles are like, well, burden. They are challenges. They are like a hassle, inconvenience. They are the things that stops us from being happy, from being satisfied, from being fulfilled. So these are the things that we refer to as trouble or troubles. And as I said earlier, you've probably said those, words yourself, that I am in trouble, or you've heard somebody say, I am in trouble. And when we hear those words, the first thing that comes to mind or question that comes to mind is like, what have you done? Why? What is wrong? Because we know that normally troubles don't come on their own. There is a reason behind the trouble. Something triggers the trouble to happen. And so we always ask the person, why? What is the matter? Why are you in trouble? Why are you in trouble? And normally it's because a rule or an instruction has been broken. You have done something that you are not meant to do. And so you have landed yourself in a big trouble or in trouble. So today we are talking about staying out of trouble. And it's a very important topic, as I said earlier, and it will help and benefit all of our excelling kids. So get them on board. Now let us look at some of the reasons why kids get into trouble. So what are some of the reasons why kids get into trouble? Now, the first thing that I've put down, there might be more points than what I'm going to share with you, but by all means, ask permission from your parents and do add in the comments more reasons. So not knowing, number one, not knowing or understanding the instructions or the rules, the orders that you have been given, the boundaries that has been set, not knowing what those boundaries are. And we all know that at home, there are certain rules, orders, that instructions that our parents give to us that we have to follow. The same applies to school. When we go to school, there are a set of rules that we have to follow at school as well. And it's important that we know what they are, we understand them, and we follow them. When we do that, we stay out of trouble. So not knowing or not understanding the orders or the instructions, the rules that have been given to you can cause a child to get themselves into trouble. Now, number two is obviously disobedience. Being disobedient. So sometimes we might know what the rules are. We might understand the orders that our parents have given to us, our teachers, the instructions that they have given to us, but we decide not to follow them. We choose to disobey. And when we disobey, what happens? There are consequences, and those consequences can be trouble for us, can make us unhappy. It can even hurt us or others when we break the rules, because we have to understand that those rules and those boundaries that have been set by our parents, by our teachers, they are there for a good reason. They are there for our own safety. And so we need to make sure that we are obedient to them. But if we fail to obey them, we can land ourselves into trouble. So we are talking about the reasons why we get into trouble in the first place. And I'm sure as I'm talking, you all know why sometimes you get into trouble, and you are more than welcome to add it to the comment section. Now, The other thing as well is bad habits. Yes, bad habits can get us into trouble. Now, you may know somebody or someone who regularly gets themselves into trouble. So it might be somebody in your year group or in your class. And for those in secondary school, it's like they are almost every day they find themselves in detention. And if they do not go for detention twice or three times in a week, it's like there's something wrong with them. And the reason is that they have developed a bad habit of falling into trouble or getting into trouble. And that is not good for them. That is unhealthy for them. And we'll talk about that more later on in this lesson. Another reason why kids get into trouble: lack of self-control. They haven't learned to control themselves, control their emotions, control their minds. And that, because they lack self-control, they are not able to avoid trouble. For example, when they cannot control their anger, it can lead them to get into fights. It can lead them to do things that will end them in a big trouble. Another reason is a lack of good role models. Not used to seeing people staying out of trouble. So when the people around you, especially the adults around you, find themselves in trouble a lot, guess what? They are not being a good role model to you. If care is not taken, you also catch that habit of the people around you, because they are not being a good role model, showing you how to stay out of trouble. As a child, you also find yourself following their path, which is what? Getting yourself into trouble. So that is also one of the reasons. And number 6 is a classic one: peer pressure. Peer pressure can get kids into trouble. They get so much influence by their peers. And the secret is because they have good relationship with their friends. They want to be in the good books of their friends. And so they will do anything to be friends with their friends. And sometimes it might mean doing things that are out of order, that breaks the rules, and that will end the child into trouble. So being aware of the causes of trouble, like we are listing now, in itself can help you to identify when trouble, or sense when trouble is approaching. You can see, wow, am I developing a bad habit of getting into trouble? Then I need to change my ways. I need to stop myself. I need to get help. Are the people around me, are they serving as bad role models? Are they always getting into fight, into trouble? Even the adults around me as a child, you begin to watch out and not, look up to them as role models, because you can see that they are getting themselves into trouble and you do not want to get yourself into trouble. So what do? You find yourself better role models that stay out of trouble. Now, another point that I've got down here, why children get into trouble: unhealthy competition. Sometimes as children, you might start comparing yourself to another child. Unhealthy competition. Oh, this person said this and I want to say something that is more cruel than what they said. Or this person has, this outfit. They have this thing and it's so pretty and I want to match this, or I want to even buy something more expensive than this. And it might mean going out of your way, doing something that you are not meant to do to get that thing so that you feel that now you are better than that person. So unhealthy competition, unhealthy comparison between you and the other person can sometimes end you up in trouble. So you have to be careful about that. Okay, so these are some of the things that I listed down. So I would encourage you that you know yourself better than anybody else. And I want you to begin to think about the troubles that you have gotten yourself into in the past. I want you to take time and think about why you ended up in trouble. What did you do? What caused you to take that action that landed you into trouble? Because sometimes we don't think about the cause of the trouble. We just see the trouble and we are all sad, angry, worked out, frustrated, and we just move on without thinking about the reason why the trouble occurred in the first place. And so we find ourselves that later on, the trouble repeats itself. But when we have figured out for ourselves why we ended up in trouble, we can get help. We can see it next time when that trouble is approaching and prevent ourselves or prevent it from happening. So as we have gone through this list yourself, you can also make a list for yourself of why you end up in trouble sometimes. If it's disobedience, then you know that, oh, okay, I have to, do my best, control myself to obey instructions, to obey the boundaries and the orders that my parents have set for me is for my own good. So have a list. And it's sometimes the reason that maybe you land yourself into trouble, or the reason that you break the rules, you don't, follow the guidelines given, might be because you keep forgetting. Then that is a very simple one to solve. You can have those rules written down, paste it in your bedroom where you'll be able to see it. If it's in the classroom, write it in front of your notebook, or write it in a note and put it in your bag and have a look at it so that you don't forget it. So when it comes to forgetting the boundaries or the orders and the instructions that will end you up in trouble, that's very, very simple. Just write a reminder to yourself. Now, let's move on to the tips. We won't take too much of your time today. So the tips to stay out of trouble, as we said, find out what the rules are, what the boundaries are that you've got to follow, that you have to observe. If you don't know it, ask your parents, ask your teachers, find out. By knowing it, you will be able to follow them and stay away from the things that will cause you trouble. Now, make sure also that you understand the rules, you understand the boundaries. And when you fall into trouble, sometimes it's not necessarily bad, but it's telling you that there is a problem somewhere. So you can go back and probably check. Maybe you don't understand the orders, the instructions that have been given to you. You can ask for further explanation to help you to understand it. Now, number 2 tip to stay out of trouble. Find out the consequences or the outcome of the action. It can be your own action. Maybe you are about to do something, or maybe a friend is telling you, let us do this, and you are not sure. Find out what the outcome of that action would be. Could this thing that I'm about to do with my friend end us in trouble? So find out what the result will be. If it's going to break the rules, then you will know that definitely that is not the right action to take. The book of wisdom, I love this verse in Proverbs chapter 22 verse 3 says, the wise sees danger ahead. So the wise person sees danger ahead and avoid it. but the fool keep going and gets into trouble. So by knowing the rules, by finding out what the consequences of your actions are, it helps you to see ahead, to see what the danger is ahead, what the trouble is ahead. And as a wise person, what do? You avoid it. You avoid those things that will end you into trouble. Now, number 3, let your thoughts, I like this point, this tip very, very much. Let your thoughts, your plans, and your actions be clean or be pure. Let it be good. Let your thoughts, let the plans that you are having in your mind and your actions, let them be clean, let them be pure. Again, it is written in Proverbs 22 verse 10 that those who plan evil will receive trouble. Those who plan evil will receive trouble. So if you plan good, if your thoughts are good, you wish yourself well and everybody around you well, you prevent yourself from getting into trouble. You protect yourself. You shield yourself against trouble. Now, I like to show you the connection between your thoughts, your feeling, and your action. And if you can get the connection between these 3 things, it will help you to stay out of trouble. It will really help you to stay out of trouble. Now, it's no wonder the Bible teaches us to guard our thoughts, to guide our minds. So when you begin to have pure thoughts, when you begin to have good thoughts, it affects the way you feel. If you have good thoughts, there's no way you will have bad feelings. And if you have good feelings, it's unlikely that you will take bad actions. Now, it's not rocket science. You can even test this for yourself. All bad actions normally comes from what? Bad feelings. You are hurt, you are angry, you feel frustrated, and you want to release it. So you act. So bad actions comes from bad feelings, and bad feelings comes from bad thoughts. You begin to think that this is what I'm going to do to this person after them taking my thing without asking me. When I see them, the way I will insult them, the way I will fight them. So already, take it, Emmanuel. Okay, sorry about that. Right, so as I was saying, you can literally avoid trouble just by checking the thoughts that you are having. If those thoughts are thoughts that are going to cause trouble, you can stop yourself. And we have learned this over and over and over again, that God has given us the ability to control our minds, to control our thoughts. And you can turn those bad thoughts into good thoughts. And the reverse is true. If you take bad actions, you're going to feel bad and you're going to have bad thoughts. So those 3 things are linked together. So avoid taking bad actions, and you avoid feeling bad, and you will also prevent yourself from having bad thoughts. So look at those 3 things and see which way which way you find it easier to stay out of trouble using. So it could be, for you, it's about your thoughts. You have been able to check what you are thinking about. And by checking what you are thinking about, you can stop yourself immediately when you realize that these thoughts are not good. They are going to end me into trouble. You realize that with the minute you stop, what I will encourage you to do is to replace it with good thoughts, which will then trigger good feelings. When you begin to feel well, when you begin to feel happier, when you begin to feel better, you are unlikely to take bad actions. And the opposite, as I said, you might be presented with the opportunity to do something bad, but avoid doing that. Move away from that place. Move away from that environment. Say no to any opportunity to do bad. Say no to it. And guess what? As you begin to avoid doing bad things, taking bad actions, you are training your feelings to be positive, and you end up having what? Good thoughts. So those three things link one to another. They all link up to each other. And it comes with practice, and it comes with observing yourself. Now, I always say that if you fail to catch troubles or see trouble coming from your mind, then sometimes it is too late to stop the action from happening. So really, the key tip here is to watch your thoughts, is to watch what you are thinking about. And that will help you to control your emotions, your feelings. Now, you can, use this minute to experiment it quickly. If you think about something that makes you angry, or somebody did something that you were so cross maybe some time ago, just by remembering what the person did to you that made you so angry, even though you have forgotten about it, you have moved on. But whenever that thought comes to your mind, guess what? You begin to feel that anger coming up again. The anger that is the same anger that you felt even the very first time the person did that to you. And if care is not taken, if the person is standing right in front of you, you begin to show it to them that you are still angry at them. And point number 5, we are bringing it to a close very soon. How to stay out of trouble is to give yourself a very, very good reason to stay out of trouble. Give yourself a very good reason to stay out of trouble. So Joseph in the Bible, I like his reason. His reason was that I will not do this because it is against my God. It is against God. I will not do this against God, or even do it against my boss. For Joseph, it was any action that was against the word of God. He feared God so much. He respected him so much. He loved him so much that he did not want to do anything that was not in his word, or that was against his word. And we all know that God's word is only but good. So if we obey it, it will help us to stay out of trouble. Now, using Joseph's example, as Christians, we already have a good reason to stay out of trouble. And that reason is the fear of God. We reverence God, we respect him, not fear him like he's about to kill us. No, but fear in the sense of deep respect for him, deep love for him, that we do not want to go against his word or do things that would displease him. And in doing that, we avoid hurting ourselves or hurting other people. And that prevents us from getting into trouble. Other examples or other reasons that other children have used to stay away from trouble is they don't want to destroy their family name. Maybe their family, their parents have built a good name for them, their surname. When the surname is mentioned in their neighborhood, in their country, in their city, guess what? Everybody respects that name. So the child is like, I don't want to be the one to destroy my family name. And that reason helps them not to do things that will cause them to be seen as bad children or bad people and tarnish the good name of their family. Another reason that some children have used to help them stay out of trouble is to set themselves a big goal for their lives, to have big dreams for their lives. And may his soul rest in perfect peace. Dr. Miles Monroe always says this, that he has such a big dream that there was no time for him to mess about, to mess around, to be getting into trouble. Because if you know that you want to become somebody great in society, you want to become a prime minister, you want to become a president in the future, you want to be somebody great in society, then it starts from your childhood. You want to build a good, solid name for yourself. You want to stay focused to get and achieve that big goal, that big dream that you have ahead of you. And other examples, good reasons why, other good reasons children have used to help them stay away from trouble is the love and the respect they have for their parents. They love their parents so much. They respect their parents so much that they do not want to disgrace them. They do not want to see them cry because of the troubles that they are causing in their lives. So sit down and have a think about why you should stay out of trouble and write it down and make sure it is a very, very good reason. And every time you are about to do something that will end you into trouble, guess what? You remember the reason that you have given to yourself, and it will help you to control yourself and say, because of this reason, I am not going to do this thing. I'm choosing the right path. I'm choosing not to cause trouble. I am taking the path that will not end me into trouble. So you can see so many examples there. You can use some of these examples or definitely make one up for yourself. God richly bless you, Reverend Augustine, and our dear family, Sister Stacia, Manny. God richly bless you and everybody on board. I see you all. May God richly bless you. And our final tip, as children of God, you want to be a prayerful person. You want to use prayer to help you. And the reason I encourage prayers is because we don't know everything. Sometimes troubles come out of nowhere. We might do all of our best to stay out of trouble, but it just happens sometimes. And that is why we need the help of God. And one way of getting God's help is through prayers. Even the Lord's Prayer, Jesus taught us that, Father, deliver us from evil, deliver us from trouble. So that should be part of our prayers, that God deliver us out of troubles. Yes, you are taking responsibility, personal responsibility, to stay out of trouble using the tips that we have given you, but you are also acknowledging that God is able to help you, deliver you from trouble. And I love the verse, Psalm 32, verse 7, rather. It says that you, God, are my hiding place. You protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance. So the Bible assures us that God helps his children, delivers them from trouble. So make sure that you do include that in these tips of getting or staying out of trouble. God bless you so much, Reverend Augustine. Now, we are coming to an end, and I want to also say this for some of the children, because I used to hear this when I was a child myself, that you hear some children say that, oh, it's all right, I'll get out of trouble when I get older. No, childhood is not an excuse for getting into trouble. It's not an excuse. And it is deceptive, or you are tricking yourself or deceiving yourself when you say that I will get out of trouble when I get older. So for now, it's okay. I can get into all the troubles that I want to get into. I will stop when I get older. No, you are not helping yourself. Guess what? When you get older, you are just a big version of yourself. You know, you don't suddenly change to become somebody else when you get older. No, you are simply a big version of yourself. So if you are falling into the habit of getting into trouble and you don't stop yourself while you are young, you will just become a big version of that troublesome person who ends up in trouble. And as a child, yes, your consequences might be, your phone being seized or being, put in naughty corner or detention. You will get, obviously, childhood discipline or consequences or punishment, if you want to put it that way. But as you get older, you will be receiving the older version of the consequences. And as bad as going into prison for some of those troubles that you end up in. So never ever deceive yourself saying that, oh, I'll get out of trouble when I get older. No, stay out of trouble now. Stay out of trouble now while you are young. And we hope that the tips that we have shared with you today, you are going to apply them, you are going to use them, they are going to help you to stay out of trouble. My prayer is that may God continue to help each and every one of our beloved excelling kids. I know deep within myself that we are raising you up an excellent, outstanding generation. So I encourage you to continually stay tuned, connected to this vision, our beloved parents especially. Stay connected to these lessons. Sometimes myself, after I've done it, I'm like, wow, this can only be God. So stay connected, help your children, yourself listen. Even as adults, it's a reminder for ourselves. When you join late, please do go back and watch it with your beloved children. And I believe that you'll begin to see transformation, total transformation in your homes. So may God richly bless you. Take care and have a wonderful time wherever you are. This is all time will permit us, but if you have any question, you have any issues, any troubles that you need help with, our doors are always open. You can message us, you can contact us. We'll be more than happy to help you and your child excel. So thank you, and may God richly bless you. We'll come your way one more time, God willing, next week. Take care. Have a wonderful time. Bye.